Yang Chen was waiting for these words. City Lord, and everyone here, if any of your families have a true martial realm or martial spirit genius who wants to condense a supreme martial spirit, you can bring spirit stones to trade with me. One opportunity for spiritual stones, only limited to those who are fated, and cannot be divulged to others. As Yang Chen's words echoed, everyone in the hall, including Dongwang, was stunned. They finally understood Yang Chen's plan. He was treating them like fat sheep ready for the slaughter. Selling it to each person for spiritual stones. You might as well rob us. Dongwang could barely accept it, since he only had one son, Dongwang. However, there were many family leaders present, some with multiple descendants, even if they were not direct descendants. If they were to follow Yang Chen's conditions, they would lose a fortune. The hall fell completely silent. The faces of the wealthy elders turned dark. They couldn't do anything about Yang Chen. They knew Yang Chen was one of the 2 champions of the Demon Sword stage competition. The East Huang Sect master valued him, and they wouldn't dare to act rashly. Dongwang gave his son a complex look. Wang Kai, pay, spiritual stones. Get the secret from Yang Chen and go to the Grande's Tower to see if it can improve your martial spirit. Actually, Dongwang rejected the deal, but he couldn't resist his father's sharp gaze. Reluctantly, he paid Yang Chen spiritual stones. In Dongwang heart, he added another label to Yang Chen. Shameless. The joyful Yang Chen immediately used his divine sense to transmit the so-called secrets of the Grande's Tower. He demanded that Dongwang swear to keep it secret. Upon hearing the secret of the Grande's Tower, Dongwang was completely dumbfounded. Are you kidding me with this so-called secret? And you charged spiritual stones. Are you even human? Dongwang stared at Yang Chen with suspicion. Are you sure this will work and trigger our ancestors' power? Yang Chen laughed. If I calculate correctly, you really have a chance to trigger our ancestors' power and get your supreme martial spirit. Dongwang, even more curious about the secret, instructed Wang Kai, go to the Grande's Tower now. Dongwang unwillingly turned and left, temporarily letting Yang Chen off. The other leaders were full of anticipation. If Dongwang succeeded, then this deal would be worthwhile. Spiritual stones to help their geniuses condense a supreme martial spirit. That was a bargain. They were just unhappy that Yang Chen was making too much money. Jianwuk was dumbfounded. He never thought his older brother could make so much money. He couldn't keep up with him. Soon, several beautiful maids entered the hall, serving a fragrant tea to everyone. Aside from Yang Chen, where would others get the chance to try this? All the family leaders present were heaven harmonization realm experts. All of them released their divine senses, closely watching the Grande's Tower, their minds not present in the hall. Seeing Yang Chen's smug look, the worried Jianwuk transmitted, bro, if Dongwang fails, do we have to return the money? Yang Chen laughed. Little Wuk, have you ever seen any money that went into your older brother's pocket ever returned? Jianwuk was even more worried. The people present were all heaven harmonization experts. Was their money safe? Suddenly, Dongwang, the one sitting on the main seat, stood up. He was trembling with excitement. It worked. It really worked. It wasn't just Dongwang who was excited. The other heaven harmonization experts were also excited, looking at Yang Chen with fervent eyes. Their divine senses had detected a red glow emitting from the Grande's Tower, indicating that Dongwang had succeeded. It means that he had triggered the power left by their ancestor and his martial spirit had evolved into a supreme martial spirit. That was a supreme martial spirit. One elder quickly left the hall without even bidding farewell to Dongwang, as if afraid they would miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. They all rushed to their families to get their best geniuses. Soon, more and more elders returned, bringing with them their young geniuses. Dongwang also returned. Dongwang, with a complex expression, was a little amazed. Following Yang Chen's instructions, he really managed to trigger a fire. This had made his martial spirit evolve. Hurry, show us your martial spirit. Dongwang was impatient. He wanted to see Dongwang supreme martial spirit with his own eyes. All right. Dongwang stood up. A fiery figure appeared behind him, and the temperature in the hall rose rapidly. The figure was a fiery bird. It was a phantom and it reached all the way up to the top of the main hall. It emitted a powerful and destructive aura. It's a flame bird phantom, with 3 wings. Dongwang laughed, staring at Dongwang martial spirit. He clearly saw that Wangkai's martial spirit was completely different from before. It was exuding a destructive aura, clearly showing how he had learned the true essence of fire. Although he was not happy with Yang Chen, Dongwang was a man of integrity. He bowed to Yang Chen. Yang Chen, I owe you a favor. I will repay you when the time comes. Yang Chen chuckled. He understood. This guy was a straight-up kind of guy. Don't mention it. I might really need your help sometime. Yang Chen wouldn't let this opportunity pass. He would make the other party owe him a favor. This guy is too crafty. Dongwang Lai had a headache. I already paid, spiritual stones. Why do I still owe him a favor? The elders from the various families who hated Yang Chen also came to ask about the price for him. Tu Zhengsheng, the leader of the giant sword family, even though he was displeased, asked with a smile, young master Yang Chen, can I buy 2 slots? Yang Chen looked at Tu Yuanjia and Tu Hai, who were behind Tu Zhengsheng. He pretended to be surprised. What's wrong? The famous Tu family is only buying 2 slots. That's too few. Actually, Tu Zhengsheng, who was always cautious, wanted to let his best descendants, Tu Yuanjia and Tu Hai, try first. If it worked, he could buy more slots later. Indeed, the Tu family had many descendants. Yunzhong Kaming, the leader of the Yunzhong family, said generously, Yang Chen, they'll buy 5 slots. Yang Chen smiled even more brightly, looking at Yunzhong Hu and Yunzhong Shaoran behind the Yunzhong family leader. Of course, the Yunzhong family is truly impressive. You have 5 geniuses. Yunzhong Hu, Yunzhong Shaoran are all talented. If they enter the Grand East Tower, they will definitely condense a supreme martial spirit. Yang Chen spoke very well, but everyone looked at Yang Chen with disdain. Can you be a little less shameless? Yunzhong Shaoran was eliminated because of you. If the East Huang Sect master hadn't interfered, Yunzhong Shaoran wouldn't have even become a sword sect new disciple. Yunzhong Kaming, grinding his teeth, had to put on a helpless expression. Brother Yang, our Yunzhong family has limited resources. 5 slots are our limit. The Yunzhong family leader is so understanding. If your children are blessed, in my next life, I want to be born into your family. Yang Chen put on an envious face. Dongwang Lai, who was watching the fun, didn't expect Yang Chen to be so shameless for money. Yunzhong Kaming's lips were trembling. He almost slapped Yang Chen for his shameless face. However, Yunzhong Kaming still paid spiritual stones, sending Yunzhong Hu, Yunzhong Shaoran, and 3 other geniuses to try the Grand East Tower. Yang Chen transmitted the secrets of the Grand East Tower separately to Yunzhong Hu. With your abilities, you think you can condense a supreme martial spirit? Dream on. Yunzhong Hu, face dark, looked at Yang Chen incredulously after receiving Yang Chen's transmission. Yang Chen, are you sure you're not playing me? Yang Chen solemnly raised his hand and counted on his fingers. I swear by my 5-star spiritual essence, what I said is the secret of the Grand East Tower. Yunzhong Hu sighed. Let's do it. Actually, Yunzhong Hu would never have guessed that although Yang Chen told him the secret of the Grand East Tower, he had omitted one key part. Following the Yunzhong family, Tu Zhengsheng, who was originally hesitant, reluctantly bought 5 slots for spiritual stones. Yang Chen, who was secretly happy, looked at the bewildered Tu Yuanjia and said, Yuanjia, trust me, I want to seed you. I have a lot of confidence in you. If you can't condense a supreme martial spirit, I guarantee that you'll get a refund of your spiritual stones. Hearing this, Tu Zhengsheng felt a little better. Although it was a big expense, if the 5 geniuses of the Tu family could really condense a supreme martial spirit, then it would be worth it. Yunzhong Kaming was not happy. Brother Yang, that's not fair. If my Yunzhong family's children fail, are you also going to refund the spiritual stones? Yang Chen shook his head like a rattle. He'll do everything that is possible. That's why it is different. Shameless. Everyone looked at Yang Chen with disbelief. You're a devil. How can you say those words? The 2 most outstanding young members of the Tu family were deceived by you and they are mocked by everyone. Tu Yuanjia had such a bad reputation because you deceived him. How dare you say you have a strong relationship? It was just too outrageous. Tu Zhengsheng, who was already very unhappy, took deep breaths to calm himself. He returned to his seat with a dark face, not daring to look at Yang Chen. He was afraid that if he looked at Yang Chen's face again, he would rush up and beat him to a pulp. The other family leaders stepped forward to trade with Yang Chen. Yang Chen had already sold slots. Even Dongwang Lai was impressed by the huge number of spiritual stones he had obtained. Yang Chen, who had already drunk his 3rd cup of tea, was feeling good. Seeing that no one was buying any more slots, he was about to leave. At that moment, an excited Tu Zhengsheng suddenly stood up. His face was flushed with excitement. Because after Dongwang Wankai, Tu Yuanjia was the 2nd person to enter the Grand East Tower. The Grand East Tower was showing a red glow. It meant Tu Yuanjia had also succeeded. Tu Zhengsheng, who was still suspicious earlier, looked at Yang Chen, feeling that the kid wasn't so annoying after all. Yang Chen, of course, knew what Tu Zhengsheng and the other elders were thinking. City Lord, everyone, we should go back now. Otherwise, the elders in our respective families might get worried. Go ahead. Donghuan Lai was in a good mood. He smiled at the speechless Jianwok. Yang Chen, along with Jianwok, quickly left, as if they were escaping for their lives. Jianwok couldn't help but ask, "Bro, can they really condense a supreme martial spirit? How is that possible?" Yang Chen laughed. "What?" Jianwok's heart sank. He had a bad feeling. With a slightly numb scalp, he said, "Bro, they are all the big shots of the Dongwang city. If they find out they've been deceived, won't we be in big trouble?" "I didn't deceive them. Our deal was fair and transparent. What trouble could there be?" Actually, Yang Chen was also worried. After finding old man Gong's son, the first thing to do was to leave East Huang Mountain. If the old guys find out they've been tricked, there is nothing to do. When Yang Chen and Jianwok rushed back to the inn, they found only Chen Buoguang. Where were Shizun and the others? They went fooling around. Chen Buoguang was angry at Yang Chen's smug look. Yang Chen had no time to argue with Chen Buoguang. "There's trouble. Little Wok and I have to go up the mountain immediately. Tell Liner, Ling Shi, and Ling Er that I'll be waiting for them on the mountain. Let Liner bring Little Black." Now that Yang Chen had plenty of spiritual stones, he didn't care about the amount of food that Little Black ate. It had been barking for a long time. "I'll try it after I get it back and make the little thing eat it." Ignoring the stunned Chen Buoguang and dragging Jianwok along, Yang Chen rushed away. Chen Buoguang finally came to his senses and yelled at Yang Chen's back, "You brat! What kind of trouble did you get into?" In a blink of an eye, Yang Chen and Jianwok were nowhere to be seen. Chen Buoguang, filled with worry, couldn't catch up with their speed, so he had no choice but to go back. Old Sun in the North City had established a dilapidated courtyard called Feng Yuan. Meanwhile, the big shots in the city lord's mansion were also starting to realize that something was wrong. After map of Yuanjia, the other four sons of the Tu family, including the talented Tu Hai, had all failed. Even Yun Zhonghu, who came after them, also failed. What a joke. Yun Zhonghu was the top genius in the true martial realm of Dongwang City, how could he fail? What about Yang Chen? It was only now that these big shots remembered to look for Yang Chen. Song Ran, the strongest in Dongwang and the divine messenger, searched the entire Dongwang city but couldn't find Yang Chen and Jianwok. This little rascal. Dong Huan Lai, shaking his head, immediately realized that maybe they were all being played by Yang Chen. It wasn't as easy as that kid had made it seem to obtain the power left behind by the old ancestors in the Grand Pagoda. Thinking that his own son had reached the supreme realm, Dong Huan Lai didn't care anymore. He didn't understand. How could that kid, Yang Chen, offend so many big shots in Dongwang City and still expect to survive? Based on Dong Huan Lai's assumption, the next person entering the Grand Pagoda would likely succeed. As expected, the Yin family's Yun Shaoran successfully condensed the supreme realm. Yun Zhonghu felt utter defeat, and his hatred for Yang Chen grew even stronger. On the other side, Yang Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief after entering the Donghuang mountain. However, Jianwok was worried and said, "We have offended the entire Donghuang city this time. Won't they capture us and skin us alive when we go back?" Yang Chen nonchalantly said, "What are you afraid of? It was a fair trade, I didn't force them to give me the stone. Don't worry, little Wok. This is the Donghuang sect, they have a code of conduct." Arriving at the mountain gate, Yang Chen and Jianwok were both shocked. At the gate, there was a tall statue of a martial artist. Many parts of the statue were damaged, but it was still possible to tell that it was a human figure. As expected, this statue should be of the Dongwang ancestor, a true god-level powerhouse. Yang Chen only knew that this was a great position, above the congenital position. He was still in the acquired realm. Even for the congenital realm, he only knew the first level, the self-recovery realm. He knew nothing beyond that. The statue exuded a sense of grandeur, and anyone who saw it for the first time would feel the weight of history. This meant that the Donghuang sect had a long history. After paying his respects to the Donghuang ancestor's statue, Yang Chen followed the jade-paved path and entered the Dongwang sect. Walking for about an hour, Yang Chen reached the middle of the mountain and saw a stone archway that read, Dongwang sect. Yang Chen now understood that this was the Real Mountain Gate of the Dongwang sect, the stone archway. Senior disciples of the sect were waiting there to guide the new disciples like Yang Chen. After registering their identities, Yang Chen and Jianwok followed a senior brother further up the mountain. The senior disciple guiding them, Luoqingji, had been in the sect for 10 years and was only in the early stages of the heavenly harmony realm. Among his peers, he was considered quite weak. Because of his limited talent, the competition within the sect was intense, and the cultivation resources he received each year were not enough for his cultivation. Therefore, he would often take on odd jobs to earn resources. Guiding new disciples was something that most senior disciples wouldn't bother with. If it weren't for disciples like Luoqingji, who were at the bottom of the sect, they wouldn't have the chance to do this. I heard you're one of the top 2 in this competition. Luoqingji looked at Yang Chen with envy, his tone tinged with sadness. Yang Chen was puzzled. This senior brother was obviously quite strong, Why was he being so nice to a new disciple like him? Since he didn't know anything about the Dongwang sect, Yang Chen cautiously asked, "Senior brother, can you tell me some of the rules of the sect?" He was afraid of making a mistake since he was new here. Of course, the sect is very free and open. There are not many rules. Except for the main peak, where you cannot enter without a pass, everything else is pretty much open. Afraid that Yang Chen would misunderstand, Luo Qingji explained, although we encourage competition, you cannot maliciously harm your opponents. As for resolving grievances, you need the approval of the elders. Other than that, there are no other restrictions. Yang Chen was greatly surprised. This kind of sect was perfect for him. Luo Qingji remembered something and looked at Yang Chen with a trace of sadness. He said, "Yang Chen, the cultivation resources in the sect, including the training time, are all allocated according to your ranking. Those who are at the top of the competition will have more resources than they can use." Really? That's great. Yang Chen didn't expect the sect's benefits to be so good. They continued walking, and Luo Qingji led Yang Chen to a mountain peak. "This is your exclusive training ground from now on. This will be your dojo in the sect." Really? Looking up, Yang Chen noticed that although the peak was not high, the spiritual energy was obviously richer than other places. At that moment, Yang Chen completely fell in love with the Dongwang sect. The benefits were too good, he even had his own training ground. "I'm going to stay here too." Jianwak also cheered with excitement. Luo Qingji, looking at Yang Chen with envy, reminded him before leaving. According to the rules, the top in the competition will be personally blessed by the sect master, and the sect's spirit forging ground will be opened for you. I suggest you get yourself a good sword beforehand. Senior brother, what is the spirit forging ground? Yang Chen asked. Luo Qingji honestly said, "I've never been to the spirit forging ground. But I've heard that there's a high chance that your weapon can be awakened there." Awakened? Yang Chen was intrigued. Weapons. I do have one. Although the blackwood arrow was not considered a treasure, its material was definitely extraordinary. If it could be awakened, that would be amazing. Thank you for reminding me, senior brother. Yang Chen said sincerely. Yang Chen might have the blackwood arrow, but what about Xiao Sun? As one of the top, Xiao Sun was obviously eligible to enter the spirit forging ground too. So he had to find a way to help Xiao Sun get a good weapon. But, it's not convenient to go down the mountain now. Yang Chen thought. He decided to settle down on the Huangtan Peak first. The Huangtan Peak was about feet tall, surrounded by mist and containing some top-grade spiritual herbs. The entire mountain peak was filled with a refreshing fragrance. Even more surprisingly, there was a small pool at the top of the mountain, the water of which was a cloudy yellow. As an all-attribute celestial Taoist, Yang Chen could sense the rich earth attribute spiritual energy in the pool. If he had awakened his earth attribute, he would definitely improve his cultivation by leaps and bounds with the help of this small pool. He showed Jianwak around the Huangtan Peak. Yang Chen was very satisfied with it. After settling in, Yang Chen told Jianwak and quickly left the Huangtan Peak. He planned on going to the main peak to get his spirit stone. The peaks in the Dongwang mountain were all different and had their own characteristics. After asking some senior brothers, Yang Chen finally arrived at the main peak. The Huangtan Peak he was on was no match for the main peak. The main peak was over 10,000 feet tall, its upper half hidden in the clouds, making it impossible to see. At the entrance of the main peak, a disciple named Dongwang Shidi asked for a pass. Yang Chen showed him the token from the great elder, and the disciple looked at him strangely. There was surprise, and a hint of pity. Yes, it was pity. Yang Chen was sure he wasn't mistaken. This made him feel uneasy. Yang Chen followed the route the disciple told him, and after much effort, he finally found the Thousand Herbs Valley. Standing at the entrance, Yang Chen could feel the powerful spiritual energy flowing within. It was obvious that the great elder's place was protected. Strangely, there was no one guarding the entrance of the Thousand Herbs Valley. As he stepped into the valley, Yang Chen was stunned. All he could see were treasures. Yang Chen could only recognize a small portion of them, but they were all extremely rare, with the lowest grade being yellow tier high grade. The peaceful valley, with its enchanting fragrance, was full of spiritual energy that slowly permeated the body even without any cultivation. What a great place! Yang Chen exclaimed. Suddenly, a voice came from Yang Chen's ear. You like it? Startled, Yang Chen noticed that a frail old man had appeared behind him. Sensing the other party's unfathomable strength, Yang Chen was filled with respect, and it was definitely not fake. Little guy, according to the rules, anyone who enters my Thousand Herbs Valley has to help me tend to the herbs for a period of time. As for the spirit stone you need, that depends on your performance. If you satisfy me, they'll definitely give it to you, but if you try to slack off, you can guess the consequences. Tending to the herbs. Yang Chen thought it was nothing big and patted his chest. Okay. No problem. The old man chuckled and continued to stare at Yang Chen. Forget about those trash outside. Inside, there are very important herbs. They all have name tags, take good care of them. The old man suddenly remembered something. Oh right, those herbs need to be fertilized every day. As for the fertilizer, there's a dungeon inside, which has some mud. Every day, you need to take a piece of mud, about a fist size, and spread it around the herbs. Remember, it has to be the size of a fist. After speaking, the old man disappeared with a strange laugh. It took a while for Yang Chen to regain his senses. If it weren't for his strong willpower, anyone else would have been scared witless. What a joke. Using chopped up humans as fertilizer. This old man is a devil. Yang Chen looked at the entrance of the cave, feeling an urge to flee. It wasn't because he was afraid of using humans as fertilizer, but the old man was just too scary. He had a feeling that the fist-sized mud fertilizer was not that simple. If he ventured too deep into the valley, he might encounter something terrible and might even die there. But since the spirit stone was in the old man's hands, Yang Chen had no choice but to harden his resolve and move forward. He cautiously and slowly walked towards the valley. Even the rarest herbs could no longer capture his attention. The thought of the herbs being fertilized by human flesh made his heart turn cold. After much trepidation, Yang Chen finally arrived at the depths of the valley and saw small plots surrounded by jade. Inside each plot, there was a unique herb, each emitting a dazzling light. Coming to the first plot, there was a wooden sign with the words Black Beauty. The introduction was simple, and Yang Chen was once again stunned, because he could feel an extremely clear aura coming from the small tree, which was the origin of darkness. What level of herb was Black Beauty? Yang Chen couldn't imagine. Who? Yang Chen, swallowing his saliva, had red eyes. He almost couldn't resist the urge to manifest the Taigu Mo Long Wu Hun and absorb the power of darkness in the Black Beauty. But the thought that these precious herbs were fertilized with human flesh quickly snapped him out of his trance. These herbs weren't his. They belonged to that terrifying old man. If he dared to absorb the darkness, the old man would surely devour him. Yang Chen reluctantly looked away from the Black Beauty and came to the next small plot, which held a purple herb. The sign on the plot read, Purple God Spirit, can strengthen divine consciousness after refining. Yang Chen was shocked. He didn't expect that there were herbs that could strengthen the spirit. This time, he almost couldn't control himself. As everyone knew, whether you're a chi cultivator, a body cultivator, or a spirit cultivator, your inner chi, physical strength, and skills can all be improved through cultivation. But as a cultivator's foundation, the power of the spirit is the most difficult to improve. It usually only increases during major breakthroughs. His divine spirit was much stronger than cultivators of the same level, thanks to his true dragon bloodline. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten so many opportunities in the southern region. Therefore, Yang Chen knew the importance of his spirit. If he could refine the purple god spirit, he could improve it greatly. But alas, these precious herbs belonged to the old man. At this moment, Yang Chen even had the thought of killing the old man. But the other party was too mysterious and powerful. The third, fourth, and fifth small plots, after quickly going through all of them, Yang Chen felt defeated. He now knew what true wealth meant. All his wealth couldn't even buy a single one of these precious herbs. Comparing oneself to others only made one more miserable. Slowly, Yang Chen's eyes hardened. He was determined that once he became powerful enough, he would rob the old man clean. Taking a deep breath, Yang Chen turned to a cave. There was a wooden sign in front of the cave that read, Dungeon. This should be the dungeon that the old man had mentioned. There must be many miserable prisoners inside. There was no gate to the cave, and no one was guarding it, but as Yang Chen approached, he felt a chilling cold. Following the tunnel downward, Yang Chen felt the strange coldness growing stronger, and everything was silent. Yang Chen felt that something was wrong. The old man had said that those herbs required a person's flesh to fertilize each day, meaning over people a year. This dungeon should be filled with many miserable prisoners, but why wasn't there a sound? After about minutes, Yang Chen's vision changed, and he found himself in a huge underground space filled with a strong smell of blood. The mix of rotting and pungent smells made him feel nauseous. Some of the chains were empty, and others were binding silent prisoners. There were thousands of prisoners in this huge underground space. Moreover, these prisoners' cultivation were all suppressed. No wonder Yang Chen couldn't hear any sounds on his way down. Yang Chen was shocked to see many stone basins placed in the middle. The rotten odor was coming from those stone basins. Next to the stone basins was a wooden rack with many weapons hanging on it. There were blades, hammers, axes, and swords. At the center was a large wooden chopping block that was covered with many marks. It looked like a huge dark door, and it smelled the same as the other items. Yang Chen, who was already feeling cold, now understood. What do you mean by ball? This is clearly a slaughterhouse. It's a place where living people are being turned into fertilizer. Yang Chen's scalp tingled. How could he bring himself to kill these defenseless cultivators? Even if they were heinous criminals, they hadn't wronged him. How could he just kill them? He was unable to turn these living people into fertilizer. Moreover, the atmosphere here was incredibly sinister and terrifying. Hey! Yang Chen approached a middle-aged man with unkempt hair. Why were you captured? Ha ha ha. The middle-aged man laughed strangely. "I'm the leader of the 13 villains from Ing Mountain. I slaughtered every man, woman, and child in the villages around Ing Mountain." Yang Chen was filled with anger. "You're not worthy of living. You're worse than trash. No wonder you were captured." But Yang Chen still asked, "Aren't you guys considered innocent victims?" The middle-aged man sneered, "Innocent? There's no such thing. Killing people is an amazing feeling, you wouldn't understand, he he he." Yang Chen decided to stop asking. This guy was insane. Hesitantly, Yang Chen walked to a pale-faced middle-aged woman on the other side. "Ma'am, why were you captured?" "For a single bite of food." The middle-aged woman seemed to recall something wonderful, and her face showed pure bliss. Yang Chen was confused. Didn't Elder he say that this place was full of heinous criminals? How could this woman be captured just for a bite of food? What happened? Were you poor? Yang Chen was perplexed. Even the weakest body-tempering cultivators would have enough to eat. A sickly look came over her pale face. "Oh, little boy, you will never understand how delicious it was. I was living like a fairy before. Every day, I had a bowl of divine meat soup." "Divine meat soup?" Yang Chen inquired. "What is divine meat soup?" "Little boy, you're so ignorant. It's the meat soup of 6-month-old children." Yang Chen's expression changed dramatically. "You are a terrible human being." Yang Chen roared. He regretted asking them anything. These people deserve to be here. Now, Yang Chen didn't have any reservations about turning these pieces of trash into fertilizer. "I'll start with you," Yang Chen said with a cold face. The middle-aged woman, with no hint of fear, said, "I'll eat you in my next life." "Shut up." Yang Chen's fist completely shattered her jaw. He didn't want to hear such vile words. He then unbound her, and dragged her by her hair to a huge chopping board. Grabbing a large cleaver from the weapon rack, he started to swing it wildly. But at this moment, Yang Chen's expression changed dramatically, because a dark energy suddenly erupted from the meat pulp and latched onto his body. Yang Chen felt a chill. This is an energy of resentment. It's not just an energy. Yang Chen's face turned pale. It must be a vengeful spirit possession. He had seen it in legends. The more evil a person was, the stronger their resentment would become after death. Once a person was possessed, they would suffer endless torment, and the body would suffer great harm. Yang Chen was not feeling good about this. Even someone as strong as him could barely accept turning these pieces of trash into meat pulp, but to be possessed by a vengeful spirit was unbearable. In all the myths he had read, there wasn't a good outcome for those possessed by vengeful spirits. He tried to unleash the power of his Sun True Energy, but it couldn't dispel the dark energy of the vengeful spirit from his flesh. This was a real problem. Yang Chen didn't know that the disciples who used to help Elder He take care of the herbs were all acting strangely, and they were dying mysteriously. Just as Yang Chen was about to unleash the power of his Taigu Mo Long martial soul, a change occurred. He felt the dark energy that was entangling in his flesh, slowly being absorbed by his Dantian, merging with his Death True Energy. The dark energy was actually improving his Death True Energy. Is this a good thing? Yang Chen was confused, and spent some time pondering this. Yang Chen suddenly recalled a legend of the Nether Sovereign. The Nether Sovereign was the master of souls, especially evil souls. For the Nether Sovereign, they were the most delicious food. His Death True Energy was born from the dark origin of the Nether Sovereign seedling. It was able to devour souls. This was completely unexpected. Soon, Yang Chen felt completely relaxed, because all of the dark energy that had entered his body had been absorbed by his Death True Energy. His Death True Energy, which was originally only at the 8th level of the True Energy realm, has advanced significantly in a short time. If there were more vengeful spirits like this, wouldn't his Death True Energy skyrocket? It might even reach the True Martial realm. Yang Chen was overjoyed. The hidden elder he was observing. For an almighty cultivator, bloodthirst is necessary. But Elder He was curious, how did the dark energy that entered Yang Chen's body disappear? He clearly felt that Yang Chen didn't use any powers to absorb it. It seems that my young lord has secrets I don't know. Elder He grew excited. Elder He had watched Yang Chen grow up for years. Since Yang Chen was born, he was chosen as his first stage protector. He was very clear about the little things that happened to Yang Chen. Could it be something he obtained inside the Heavenly South secret realm? Elder He thought. This was the only explanation. He had originally planned to help Yang Chen absorb more vengeful spirits, but it seemed like there was no need now. Then, Elder He left, sighing. Yang Chen held his breath, and began placing the chopped meat into a stone basin and placed it into his inner world. He brought out the stone basin with the meat, and carefully poured it into the roots of the herbs. Yang Chen saw an unbelievable scene. The meat at the roots of the herbs was vanishing at an alarming rate. Soon, they had all disappeared, either seeping into the ground or being absorbed by the herbs. After finishing this, Yang Chen took a break, filling his empty stomach. Except for Elder He's cave, he explored every part of the mountain. At the same time, Qiling Qiqiu and others arrived at East Emperor Mountain, and with the guidance of a senior sister, settled into their rooms. In the East Emperor City, Old Man Gongsun and the others heard a shocking news that shook the entire city. The main character of the news was Yang Chen. It was said that he was extremely bold, and had cheated all of the major families in East Emperor City out of tens of thousands of spirit stones. This news shocked everyone in East Emperor City. Some cursed Yang Chen for being reckless, while others praised his brilliant schemes. Many were envious and full of hatred. That was tens of thousands of spirit stones. An amount of wealth that ordinary cultivators could not earn in a lifetime. Old Man Gongsun and the others were sitting in the hall. Their faces were dark. They had finally escaped Heavenly South and arrived at East Emperor City, hoping to live a peaceful life. They didn't expect Yang Chen to cause such a huge ruckus. Senior brother, the rumors are detailed. Did that little Chin boy really do something like that? Shaking his head, Old Man Gongsun said, there must be something fishy going on here. We need to ask little Chen when he returns. Well, ask him when he gets back. Chen Buguang spoke with a cold face. That brat stole so many spirit stones and he didn't give us any. He's really disrespectful. Old Man Gongsun was upset. Can't you be more mature? You're useless. Chen Buguang became even more upset. Old Man Gongsun then said that brat is becoming more and more unruly. He'll teach him a lesson when he gets back. Yang Chen didn't know that Old Man Gongsun and the others were already plotting against him because of jealousy, and the large number of spirit stones he had obtained. He was still struggling to obtain the soul fragments. In a blink of an eye, Yang Chen had spent days in the 1,000 soul bone area. He had killed villains. Thanks to the resentful spirits, his death true energy had reached the peak of the true martial realm. Now, only his son true energy was still at the 8th level of the true martial realm. As long as he increased that to the 9th level, he could easily reach the 5 souls realm. He had condensed the 5 souls early, and they were super 5 souls. Early that morning, Yang Chen went to the underground bone area as usual. Little brat, enough. Yang Chen nearly cried. This old man always shows up at the wrong time. He pretended to be pitiful. Yang Chen sighed, I've been taking care of these herbs according to your directions. Elder he nodded, not bad, you've been taking great care of them. But if you want the soul fragments, you have to help me with a task. Yang Chen asked, while cursing the old man in his heart, what do you need me to do? Go to the sect master and get something for me. Yang Chen was relieved. So, it's just running errands for Elder He. That's easy. But when he heard Elder He's next words, he began to worry. Little guy, this is a little bit difficult. You need to get it secretly. Yang Chen was dumbfounded. Go in secretly, and come back secretly. What do you mean? Isn't that stealing? Yang Chen thought he misheard something, and looked at Elder He in confusion. If he went to steal something from the sect master, he wouldn't have enough lives. Elder He was a little embarrassed, but then said, you are extremely talented. This small task should be no problem for you. After complimenting him, Elder He continued, the sect master is busy recently, so he might not be in his training hall. You just need to be careful and everything will be fine. Go into the 3rd training hall. Turn right then left and the 3rd path leads to the 3rd training hall. Get an ink disc-sized object. 3rd training hall, the object is ink disc-sized. Yang Chen thought to himself, the sect master's training hall should be heavily guarded. What is this magic eye? With Elder He's position in the sect, he believed that the sect master would not refuse if he asked for the object. It's just a black rock, shaped like an eye. It's easy to recognize, Elder He said casually. Yang Chen didn't believe that it was just a black rock. But remembering his hidden movement techniques, he became more confident. Elder He smiled, little guy, I believe in you. And so, Yang Chen was sent away on a wild goose chase. Using his hidden movement, Yang Chen followed Elder He's directions and headed for the sect master's training hall. But when Yang Chen arrived, he was surprised that there was no guard. But when he entered, he was stunned. There were 9 almost identical caves in front of him. Yang Chen realized that the sect master's training area had 9 entrances. The 3rd path from the left should be the 3rd training hall. Yang Chen carefully entered the 3rd path, and after waiting a while, he didn't see anything. Yang Chen thought, this is the sect master's training area. There should at least be some defense mechanisms. But when he carefully entered the cave, there was nothing. Actually, Yang Chen didn't know that the training hall was heavily guarded with formations. If he dispelled his hidden movement technique, he would trigger the defense mechanisms. Yang Chen smiled to himself, it's a lot easier than I thought. After about an incense stick's worth of time, Yang Chen exited the long tunnel, and the real third training hall was before him. The cave was large, hundreds of meters long and wide. There were many flags and banners, neatly placed. This was clearly the Sect Master's treasure vault. The spiritual energy was dense, and various precious lights flickered. Clearly, only the most precious items were kept in the third training hall. The East Emperor's sect had been around since ancient times. Its resources were beyond imagination. Yang Chen was fascinated, but didn't dare touch anything. He had a feeling that every item here was protected by restrictions. If he triggered them, the Sect Master would know. If he were caught, his life would be in danger. Yang Chen struggled to look away from the items. Slowly, he reached the deepest part of the cave. And then, he saw the target. An ink disc-sized black rock was placed in the corner. It was shaped like an eye. When Yang Chen looked at the eye, he felt an inexplicable chill, as if he were being stared at by a terrifying creature. The source of this chill was the magic eye. What the hell? Yang Chen was in disbelief. When he looked at the magic eye, he seemed to see a living demon with terrifying demonic aura. Could this be the eye of a powerful being? Yang Chen was careful, and used his spiritual perception. The eye had no restrictions. Yang Chen didn't know that all items in the third training hall, except for the magic eye, had unique restrictions. If they were touched, the Sect Master would know immediately. This was the power of the East Emperor bloodline. The magic eye was rumored to be left behind by the East Emperor founder. Every Sect Master had tried to control it, but none were able to lift the restrictions. After a while, Yang Chen showed himself, took a deep breath, and grabbed the magic eye. Using his hidden movement technique again, he hurried back the way he came. Actually, Yang Chen didn't know that the Great Elder had been following him, also in the shadows. Seeing that Yang Chen didn't touch any other treasures, the Great Elder nodded in satisfaction and chuckled, such a temperament, rare indeed. Back in the Thousand Peaks Ancient Hall, Yang Chen was covered in cold sweat. He couldn't believe he had actually succeeded, successfully stealing a treasure from the Sect Master's training ground. After giving the demon eye to Elder He, Yang Chen pretended to be pitiful, looking at him without daring to speak, afraid of causing more trouble. Yang Chen was genuinely a little afraid of this old man. But the old man looked at Yang Chen's expression and scolded good-naturedly, "Little guy, I wouldn't eat you." With that, Elder He took out a soul consolidation stone and tossed it to Yang Chen. Yang Chen quickly caught it, carefully inspected it, and stored it in his interspatial ring. He trusted that the Great Elder wouldn't deceive him. "Thank you for your kindness, Great Elder." Without any more words, Yang Chen bowed and was about to leave. He would never come back here again, not even if his life depended on it. "Little guy, Elder," he called out to Yang Chen with a smile, "are you dissatisfied with me?" "No, not at all." Yang Chen shook his head vigorously like a rattle drum. After a moment of silence, Elder He, who seemed a bit mischievous, stared at Yang Chen. "Little guy, I'll give you a piece of information. There's a treasure in the Yellow Pool at Yellow Pool Peak, something useful for you." "Really?" Yang Chen was doubtful. Yellow Pool Peak had existed for countless years, and had been explored by countless people. So many people must have explored the peak, would there even be any treasure left for him? "Believe it or not, it's up to you." Elder He lazily waved and disappeared. As Yang Chen walked back, he pondered, if there really is a treasure in the Yellow Pool, it must be difficult to obtain. Otherwise, it wouldn't have waited for me. He felt like the old man was up to no good. Actually, Yang Chen was wrong. There hadn't been any treasures in the Yellow Pool before. Elder He had placed the treasure in it the day before Yang Chen arrived at Yellow Pool Peak. After leaving the main peak, Yang Chen didn't return to Yellow Pool Peak. He headed straight down the mountain to deliver the soul consolidation stone to Dongwang. Although he wasn't very fond of his cheap master, he had a soft spot for his master's daughter. More importantly, Dongwang's cultivation had been crippled because of him, and Yang Chen had always felt guilty. Now that he had the soul consolidation stone, his master had a chance to recover, and he could finally put his conscience at ease. After leaving the Eastern Emperor Mountain, Yang Chen entered the city and headed straight for Fengyuan. Yang Chen arrived at Fengyuan just in time for dinner. Jingyu Luo and Duanmu Menghua had already prepared a large meal and were waiting for him. When Dongwang saw Yang Chen arrive, his good mood instantly vanished. "Why is this kid back?" Yang Chen was confused. "What do you mean? Why can't I be back?" Xiao Jing'a waved to him. "Come, kid, come sit." Yang Chen was baffled. What were these old geezers up to? This was too friendly, there must be a trap. Gongsun, the old man, spoke directly, "Kid Chen, the few of us left our homes for your sake, so you have to compensate us." "Ha!" Yang Chen, still confused, felt that this wasn't good. What was going on? Did these old guys have a nose for trouble and come together to bully him? Dongwang immediately understood. He's right. Since you've settled down, you need to pay our dues. Seeing Yang Chen's confused expression, even the usually dignified Duanmu Menghua couldn't help but laugh. After thinking for a moment, Yang Chen realized that these old guys must be jealous of how much money he had earned. They were trying to rob him. After witnessing the wealth of Elder He and the Eastern Emperor Sect Master, Yang Chen didn't care about the tens of thousands of spirit stones he had. It was just chump change. Alright, Yang Chen laughed. So you guys want a cut of my wealth? How much do you want? Xian Boguang held up a finger, his eyes gleaming. Little brat, I won't ask for too much, just... Yang Chen almost lost his temper, but then he remembered the man's other identity. He quickly swallowed the words that were about to come out. Okay. Gritting his teeth, Yang Chen took out, and threw it to Chen Boguang. Inside, Yang Chen cursed, shameless old man. You're freeloading and you still have the nerve to ask for money. He'll send you a book after all this. Seeing that Yang Chen had given the money, Zhou Jing'a was not polite at all. Kid Chen, I've been on the run with you all the way from the south. My head was always on the line. My fee is good. Is acceptable. But if it's any less, I won't be happy. Yang Chen rolled his eyes in annoyance. He didn't care about the spirit stones, but he didn't like the feeling of being exploited. But what could he do? He was completely outgunned. Fine, hey race. Yang Chen gritted his teeth and paid Zhou Jing'a. Me too. Jing Yulua chimed in. Kid Chen, you've seen, haven't you? Since you arrived in the south, I have been taking care of everything. Yang Chen was afraid of her, and quickly interrupted. Alright, how much do you want? It doesn't matter, as long as it's no less than. Great, another, down the drain. When Duanmu Menghua saw that Yang Chen was looking at her, she smiled gently. Little Chen, you don't have to pay me. Yang Chen thought, it's still good to have a mother-in-law looking out for you. No wonder the saying goes, mothers-in-law love their sons-in-law the most. It's really true. Gongsun completely ignored Yang Chen's pitiful gaze and said, Kid Chen, we're always in danger. I don't feel safe with you having so many spirit stones. Put them with me, and just keep a few hundred for cultivation. Ah. Yang Chen was dumbfounded. He never imagined that Gongsun's appetite was so big. But. Yang Chen stammered, almost crying, it's very safe on Eastern Emperor Mountain. The sect is strict, no one would dare to steal. You're still too young. Gongsun was unmoved. Even in the brightest places, there are shadows. Do you know how many people in this city are after your life? Yang Chen was too lazy to argue with the old man. Fine, master, how much do you need? Wow, seeing that you're being so sensible, you'll stop talking nonsense. Helpless, Yang Chen took out another, low-grade spirit stones. The atmosphere immediately became harmonious. Gongsun even brought out a plate of spiritual wine to celebrate. Only Yang Chen was crying on the inside, but had to pretend to be happy. After they were done, Yang Chen finally remembered his real purpose. He took out the soul consolidation stone and solemnly handed it to Chen Boguang. Master, quickly restore your soul. Once you're fully recovered, the soul consolidation stone needs to be returned. If it were anyone else, Yang Chen would have kept it, but this belonged to the great elder. He didn't dare do that. That old man was too scary. Chen Boguang's hand trembled as he took the stone. He never thought that he would actually have a chance to recover. Kid Chen, I owe you one. Chen Boguang actually said something serious. Yang Chen didn't respond. He had seen through this cheap master. It was late at night when Yang Chen finally left Fengyuan. Watching Yang Chen's retreating back, Duanmu Menghua felt a little guilty. Did we take too much money from little Chen? He must be feeling bad. Jing Yulua, acting as if she had a lot of experience, said, Menghua, you don't understand. We did all this for his own good. What do you mean? Duanmu Menghua was confused. Jing Yulua seriously explained, men shouldn't have too much money. Money corrupts men. Duanmu Menghua couldn't help but laugh. She didn't respond to her and glared at Jing Yulua instead. You two are really something. Xian Boguang sighed. Seeing that things were going south, Xian Boguang quickly left. Zhou Jing'a looked at the composed Gongsun and asked, Master, are we considered bandits? Bandits. Gongsun angrily cursed, we're exploring the world. Consider it our first step out of Eastern Earth's backyard. Zhou Jing'a had a black line on his forehead. Even the Eastern Emperor's sect is in Eastern Earth, and it's not exactly a great place. Unlike the other cultivators, Gongsun actually knew a bit about the outside world. Gongsun said, rumor has it that both the Eastern Earth and the Eastern Emperor's sect are nothing more than remote, poor areas in the vast Dongchuan. I also want to go out and explore, but our strength is too weak. If we go out, we might die. Xiao Jing'a, whose cultivation was also at the peak of the 9th level of the Heavenly Harmony realm, felt a bit defeated. Both he and Gongsun were not lacking in talent, but they didn't have the resources to cultivate. Otherwise, they would have reached the Violet Palace realm long ago. Unfortunately, obtaining natural energy was too difficult. Yang Chen, back at Eastern Emperor Mountain, was feeling very melancholic, so he went up to Yellow Pool Peak. But when he saw Qianlingxi, Zhou Linger, and Jing Han there, his mood instantly improved. Yang Chen, did you get the Soul Consolidation Stone? Qianlingxi, full of concern, had also just arrived. She heard from Jianwuk that Yang Chen had gone to the Great Elder to ask for the stone. Yang Chen patted his chest and said proudly, I already delivered it. A small matter like this is nothing for me. Qianlingxi was doubtful. She had heard that the Great Elder's place was very dangerous. Any disciple who entered the Great Elder's place to take care of herbs would come out mentally unstable, and more often than not, they would die. Because of their concern, Qianlingxi and the other two had rushed to Yellow Pool Peak. The Great Elder didn't make things difficult for you. Zhou Linger was skeptical. Yang Chen smiled carelessly. That old man is cunning. He wanted to make things difficult for me, but who am I? Seeing Yang Chen's boastful appearance, Qianlingxi finally breathed a sigh of relief. Yang Chen, changing the topic, said meaningfully, Lingxi, what do you think of my Yellow Pool Peak? It's much better than our small yard. Before Qianlingxi could speak, Zhou Linger said enviously. Hee, Yang Chen chuckled, pretending to be nonchalant. This peak is pretty good, right? How about you three come live here too? Yes. Jianwuk immediately became excited upon hearing this and cheered. Qianlingxi smiled, of course, she understood what Yang Chen was thinking. You agree? Seeing Qianlingxi's expression, Yang Chen thought she had agreed and immediately became excited. The sect rules state that no male or female disciples under the age of can live together. Qianlingxi smiled and stared at Yang Chen. What kind of rule is that? Yang Chen was immediately devastated. After a moment, under Yang Chen's reluctant farewell, Qianlingxi and the other two left Yellow Pool Peak, but Xiao He stayed behind. Xiao He never thought that this little devil would still be thinking about him. In his heart, Xiao He cursed Yang Chen, thinking about all sorts of horrible things happening to him, but unfortunately, Yang Chen couldn't understand him. After standing at the foot of the mountain until Qianlingxi had disappeared from sight, Yang Chen finally recovered. He glared at Xiao He. Let's go up the mountain. Xiao He was immediately displeased. Why don't you carry me? This mountain is so high, how can I climb it myself? Yang Chen, annoyed, kicked Xiao He's head and scolded, stop yapping. Don't make any noise from now on. Woof. Xiao He cried. How can this devil be so cruel to my great He Yi? Hey, yes, destiny is only to follow one master for life. Xiao He, if it weren't for Master Jinwu from the past, I would have gotten rid of you long ago. You eat so much and your cultivation is still at the first level of the body tempering realm. Yang Chen was frustrated. Xiao He wanted to explain, but this little devil couldn't understand him. At the foot of the mountain, Yang Chen threw Xiao He to Jianwuk, ordering him to feed Xiao He 2 spiritual stones every day. Slowly, Yang Chen's restlessness began to subside. Except for cultivating, Yang Chen wouldn't leave his yard. He didn't even go to Yellow Pool Hall. He remembered the Great Elder's warning, so he released his divine sense, intending to explore the secrets of the Yellow Pool. To his surprise, Yang Chen was completely shocked. His divine sense couldn't penetrate the pool. It was like the water was isolating his divine sense. This made Yang Chen curious. After thinking for a bit, Yang Chen jumped into the pool. What? Yang Chen felt a powerful suction that was pulling him down into the water. He was quickly pulled down. Wow. Yang Chen quickly activated the true sun energy in his body to protect himself. Although his strength was far greater than the average person, visibility in the water was extremely poor. After what felt like a moment, Yang Chen finally reached the bottom. There was a gentle, yellow light all around. Yang Chen stared at the source of the yellow light, completely stunned. The Great Elder was actually telling the truth. Yang Chen couldn't believe it. There was a treasure at the bottom of the Yellow Pool. Why hadn't the previous masters of Yellow Pool Peak taken it? Although he was doubtful, he couldn't care about that now. The most important thing was to collect the treasure. Through the soft yellow light, Yang Chen saw a ball of soft material. It was about the size of a fist and resting on the bottom of the pool. It was gently swaying, and the material seemed to be unstable. It was like a net, and it was transparent. What is this thing? Yang Chen was very curious. He could feel the powerful suction in the yellow pool, which seemed to be caused by this glowing, soft object. Unable to use his divine sense, Yang Chen bent down, wanting to grab the soft ball and put it in his interspatial ring. But when he grabbed the soft ball, he was surprised to find he couldn't pick it up. His hand strength was at least several tens of thousands of pounds. He couldn't believe he couldn't pick up a softball the size of a fist. He then used both of his hands, but still couldn't move it. What the heck? Yang Chen was shocked. This seemingly ordinary softball was likely incredibly heavy. Yang Chen hesitated. He didn't dare to put it in his interspatial ring. Although his interspatial ring was at yellow level, there were some things it couldn't hold. The mysterious soft mass before him clearly contained unfathomable power. If he took it into his inner world, it could cause the space to collapse. His inner world held all his possessions, and if it was destroyed, everything would be gone. This was a technique of the Tian Jing. Carefully, Yang Chen used it to lock onto the soft mass. Instantly, the soft mass was stimulated, emitting a blinding yellow light. The dense, terrifying earth element energy turned the water around into a viscous liquid. Threads of yellow light pierced into Yang Chen's body, straight into his dantian. Even more strangely, as the threads of yellow light entered his dantian, they gathered together and formed a small, pale, transparent soft mass. The little mass emitted a soft, yellow light. Yang Chen, ecstatic, finally understood. He had just stumbled upon a great opportunity. He continued to run the Tian Jing, absorbing the soft mass energy into his sea of consciousness. He also used his spiritual sense to touch the mini soft mass in his sea of consciousness. A vast, ancient aura surged into his spiritual sense. Yang Chen was completely shocked. He never imagined that the luminous soft mass at the bottom of the altar was actually the earth core essence. He had heard of the earth core essence in a mythological novel he had read. Each world had its own origin, the laws of its own celestial Tao. And this celestial Tao was located in the core of the earth, in the earth core essence. The earth core essence was the foundation of a world, containing the purest form of earth origin. And over long periods of time, it would birth the earth core manifestation. If the earth core essence is a tree, then the earth core manifestation is the fruit. It contained the purest form of earth, and had mysterious laws. Even though Yang Chen couldn't understand why an earth core manifestation would appear at the bottom of the altar, he quickly absorbed it. It took him a full day and a half to completely absorb it. Yang Chen, feeling excited, realized that the mysterious aura in the pit had disappeared. Immediately, Yang Chen shot out of the pit. Yang Chen still had a puzzled look on his face. It was already late at night. Yang Chen sat down and focused on his dantian. Inside was a soft mass, a small earth core manifestation. Yang Chen knew that this wasn't just earth core manifestation, but his fourth true energy, earth core true energy. And its form was different. Strangely, the earth core true energy was no less powerful than celestial true energy. After feeling it out, Yang Chen found out that his earth core true energy was still at the early stage of the true martial realm. It was still a long road ahead to reach the peak. Although he took the earth core manifestation from the altar, it still held a rich earth element spirit energy. Yang Chen tried to run the Tian Jing, but even though he was in the pit, the earth core true energy's growth was still very slow. This was because earth core true energy was pure earth. Extracting its energy from ordinary earth spirit energy would be difficult. Yang Chen's Tian Jing was one of a kind, and other cultivation techniques would not have been able to do this. For the next few days, Yang Chen cultivated in the pit, painfully but joyfully improving his earth core true energy. This day, a senior disciple of the Dongwang clan came to the altar, leading Yang Chen and Jianwuk to the main peak. Including the days spent in the Elder's Alchemy Cave, Yang Chen had now been at Dongwang Mountain for a month. The Dongwang clan usually took the core disciples to the main peak after a month. You 20 strongest disciples, it is now time to enter the cultivation platform. When Yang Chen and Jianwuk arrived at the Dongwang Palace, the other core disciples were already present. The Dongwang clan leader smiled. You 20 are the strongest in this year's competition. You have now gained the right to enter the cultivation platform. Like Yang Chen, all the core disciples looked forward to making gains in the cultivation platform. The clan leader continued, there are opportunities and dangers in the cultivation platform. Cultivate carefully. Also, for those who don't have a good weapon. No one replied except for Jianwuk. Because besides Jianwuk, the other, including Yang Chen, were all cultivators and had their own weapons. A cultivator rarely changes their weapon. The Donghuang clan leader seemed a little surprised. He looked at Jianwuk and asked, what kind of weapon do you want? Something heavy, Jianwuk said nonchalantly. Hearing this, the Donghuang clan leader realized that Jianwuk was a pure physical cultivator. If Jianwuk wanted a good sword, it might be painful for the clan leader. However, a blunt weapon wasn't a problem at all. The majority of the Donghuang clan are sword cultivators. However, there are a few blunt weapons left behind from previous generations that haven't been claimed. Elder, please take Wuk to the armory to pick a weapon. A middle-aged man standing behind the clan leader stepped out, leading Jianwuk out of the palace. This was Dongwang Lin, the sixth son of the clan leader, and was the most gentle of his sons. He didn't have any arrogance. Yang Chen was happy for Jianwuk, but also envied the clan leader's generosity. He had been to the armory before, and there were many unique weapons there. He hoped Jianwuk would choose something suitable. Half an hour later, Jianwuk returned with a black staff, looking grave. It seemed very heavy. It looked as if the stone floor beneath his feet would crack. The Dongwang clan leader was surprised to see that Jianwuk had actually chosen a heavy, blunt staff. The black staff didn't look like it was made of metal, wood, or stone. It was made of some unknown material. "Let's go," the clan leader said. He led Yang Chen and the others out of the palace towards the back. Yang Chen asked, "Wuk, is that staff really heavy?" Jianwuk had the strength of 10,000 caddies, so Yang Chen was confused, but carrying the black staff required him to use his Buddha's strength, which was strange. Jianwuk excitedly said, "This is the ancient divine weapon, the black dragon staff. My celestial energy is telling me this. It's a spiritual weapon, but for some reason, its spirit is asleep." Yang Chen took a deep breath. He couldn't imagine that there was actually a spiritual weapon in the armory, and that Jianwuk got it. Yang Chen could only imagine what the clan leader would think if he knew that Jianwuk's staff was a divine weapon. Jianwuk continued, "The black dragon staff weighs, caddies. I can only carry it when I'm channeling my true energy." Yang Chen was extremely envious and decided he had to go back to the armory sometime. There might even be more spiritual weapons there. Even the clan leader, who was so powerful, had never seen a real spiritual weapon before. After walking for a long time, Yang Chen and the others finally reached their destination under the clan leader's guidance. Seeing the pit, the strongest disciples, including Yang Chen, were confused, because the clan leader was standing in front of an irregular pit. The pit was about 10 feet wide, and not very deep. The Donghuang clan leader didn't seem to notice the puzzled expressions on their faces. He said, "This is the cultivation platform. Go on in. You can stay for 3 days. Where's the cultivation platform?" Several people exclaimed. Yang Chen looked at the pit, thinking to himself, could this pit be the cultivation platform? How could it be a pit? Without explaining, the clan leader gestured for the 20 disciples to enter the pit. As soon as he entered, Yang Chen was shocked. He found himself in a pit of lava. The heat was so intense that it could melt everything. Yang Chen then finally understood what the cultivation platform was. The cultivation platform wasn't a platform, but a place with extreme dangers. The lava was the proof of it. Yang Chen was in a pit of raging magma. He could feel the lava energy constantly burning at his body. The spiritual fire energy flowed through his body. Now, Yang Chen finally understood why the cultivation platform could improve physical strength. This isn't a bad place. Yang Chen let the lava energy flow through his body to temper it. He didn't forget his black wood arrows. He put them in the lava. Yang Chen didn't know that the disciples had all been sent to different dangerous environments. Jianwuk, for example, was in a sea of blood. Gradually, Yang Chen discovered that the black wood arrows were slowly absorbing the lava's energy. When he used his spiritual sense to connect with the arrows, he noticed that the lava energy was gathering inside them, as if forming something. What is it? Yang Chen was curious, but too lazy to investigate. This tempering was very beneficial to his physical body, so he focused all his energy on the black wood arrows. In the blink of an eye, half a day had passed. Yang Chen was shocked. He could feel that the black wood arrows had absorbed a lot of energy, and had formed a red orb in his body. When he inspected it with his spiritual sense, he was shocked. He never thought that the red orb would be a talisman. Yang Chen had studied talismans and could even draw some basic ones, but he had never heard of a talisman appearing in this form. He couldn't imagine what kind of place the cultivation platform was. It had such unimaginable powers. It had the power to create spiritual energy and awaken the spirit of the object. And the fire orb that had appeared in the black wood arrows was an incredibly powerful Earth Realm talisman. The fire talisman was extremely powerful. It could amplify the power of fire-based celestial Taoists, and had incredibly strong fire traits. Yang Chen wasn't sure about the Dongwang clan, but he knew that the strongest talisman masters in the Eastern Land could only inscribe a few basic-level talismans. The fact that the cultivation platform could create a genuine Earth Realm talisman was unbelievable. Yang Chen didn't know that only he had this ability among the 20 people who had entered the cultivation platform. Others had also gained something. Some had almost succeeded in awakening their spiritual weapons. As for Jianwuk's black dragon staff, it was madly absorbing all the energy of the cultivation platform. Unfortunately, even after 3 days of absorbing all the energy, the spirit of the black dragon staff still had not awakened. Yang Chen was a little disappointed. The blackwood arrows had successfully created a powerful talisman on the first day, but in the following 2 days, nothing happened. The blackwood arrows had not awakened. After 3 days, all 20 disciples were sent out of the cultivation platform. The pit, also known as the cultivation platform, was empty. The Donghuang clan leader was gone. The clan leader smiled at them and said, "Junior brothers, I will now take you to the main peak." Unlike Yang Chen and Jian Wuk, many were depressed because their spiritual weapons had failed to awaken. Seeing the expressions of the disciples, the clan leader said, "Junior brothers, don't be discouraged. It takes luck for spiritual weapons to awaken. From the beginning until now, no one has ever succeeded in awakening it on their first try. The cultivation platform absorbs the spiritual energy of the world. It opens every half year. You will have many more chances." Hearing the clan leader, the disciples regained their confidence. On the way back, Jian Wuk kept smiling. In the cultivation platform, Jian Wuk had used all his energy to temper the black dragon staff, allowing the spiritual weapon to recognize him as its master. Now, even though the black dragon staff weighed caddies, Jian Wuk could easily wield it with one hand. Unfortunately, due to its weight and spiritual properties, he couldn't keep it in his storage ring. Unless Jian Wuk could find a storage ring of high enough grade. Considering the importance of this matter, Yang Chen had to remind Jian Wuk to not reveal the staff to anyone. When Yang Chen returned to the altar area, he was greeted by a senior brother from the law hall. As one of the top 2 disciples, Yang Chen was given a lot of resources. This included a free yellow-grade mid-level talisman. There were 10 taels of low-grade spiritual stones, healing pills, a scroll granting access to the 3rd floor of the clan's library, and a time plate to enter the 4 great training grounds. After examining the storage ring, Yang Chen was shocked. Such treatment was beyond anything he had imagined. Compared to Yang Chen, Jian Wuk's allocation was much lower.